Hello everyone, my name is Bella Rizzo, and this is my slideshow on chapters 3, 4, and 5 of Reinventing Project-Based Learning by Susie Boss and Jane Krause. So starting off with chapter 3, it's titled Imagining the Possibilities. I'm going to go over 3 key points that I found in this chapter. These are projects that leave an impact on the world, passion and its importance to success, and how technology enhances essential learning. For context, I am an education major and I specifically want to work with elementary school students. So I applied a lot of the things that I learned from these chapters to elementary school classrooms. Just a heads up, a lot of these can apply to any grade level. So starting off with projects that leave an impact in the world, some of the projects that I found really interesting are ones that focus on environmental preservation and how that can impact the world as a whole, and bringing that into student learning. So the International School of Krakow in Poland, you can see the students right here, they assigned a class of 6-year-olds to turn trash into a piece of art. So essentially, in short, what they did was they went out into the woods, into nature, and collected litter and trash. They cleaned it, obviously, and they turned it into this art piece. And I think this is just a really great way of incorporating creativity to social activism and environmental science. And I thought this quote was a great summary of their message, was saying, "Our piece transformed unwanted waste into an original piece of art that showcases our students' constant collective effort to make this world a better place." Kind of following along with that is passion and its importance to success. This right here is called Genius Hour. We did do this when I was in middle school one time, and I loved it. This is a concept that I would love to bring into my own classroom, because you're having students build research skills on something that is interesting to them, something that is relevant to them. It's going to allow them to explore a subject that they genuinely find interest in. Obviously, this can range from, if you're in a science class or if you're a science teacher, you can say, okay, you guys need to do a presentation, compile data, research, and present your findings on anything related to biology. So this could range from pollution, like in the beginning, or it can relate to a student's favorite animal, and they can express their interest in that. And it's really cool because it allows them to be curious about specific topics, and curiosity is so important, especially in young children. But it also gives them the resources to properly investigate and to do accurate research and fact check and compile their data and present things out loud to a class or to a small group. And this is how technology enhances essential learning. Again, this is specifically for elementary school classrooms. So Google Workspace, Google Docs, Padlet, a lot of these sites allow students to collaborate with their peers, not only inside the classroom, but once they go home as well. Some digital reflection. I actually use Wix in this class for my blog posts, which is why I brought this up. But Wix, WordPress, and Google Forms, students can make blogs or they can give feedback. That's through Google Forms. And expressing data visually. I think this is incredibly important because it brings in the visual learning style into all of this. So these are examples from elementary schoolers doing very, very simple bar graphs. But I like this one the best. This is the amount of students, and these are their favorite colors. So you can see that yellow is particularly popular, but it's just a really age-appropriate, visually intriguing way to help students conceptualize some challenging topics that they can bring into their learning later in their educational career. So going into chapter 4, this is called Strategies for Discovery. And 3 main features that I saw in this chapter was pitfalls and how to navigate them, common features seen in effective projects, and how can technology really further learning. So some pitfalls and how to navigate them with projects specifically, is a lot of the time the purpose of a project gets lost when a project has way too many steps. This leads to confusion and shorter learning outcomes because the project has gone on for so long that students don't really know what the point of it is anymore. So when you keep projects simple, expectations clear, and guidelines firm, especially, again, using visuals for elementary students, it really allows them to maintain the purpose of the project and to really understand why it is they're researching what they're researching. And also, projects with too much reliance on technology can push critical skills such as handwriting, drawing, and hands on kinesthetic learning to the side. Um, Again, I love technology for learning. I think these are incredible resources. But maybe doing something like printing this out and having students work on their handwriting to fill this in would be so much better than having them type in their answers. So, some features seen in effective projects, both inside and outside of a classroom, are structure, collaboration, and real world impact. We talked about real world impact in the very beginning. So, that's a project that has purpose that applies to outside the classroom and changes or benefits their community. This will make them more motivated to succeed because their project has meaning. Structure, as said by Lenz here, it's just so important. Quote, effective PBL is highly structured to facilitate student learning, whereas traditional instruction is often structured to support teacher-directed instruction and student compliance. So when things are so structured, it makes it a lot easier for students to really go in there and know I have to do step 1, 2, and 3 to make this project successful. And then collaboration is just a key aspect of school projects and the workforce in the future. I've personally never liked group projects. I've always gone by the motto of if you want to get it done, do it yourself. However, it's important. Students need to learn from each other. They need to not only be learning academically and meeting benchmarks, but they also need to be building their social skills as well, especially with everything being so online and online schooling. Building social skills in these students is so incredibly important for their success in the future. And how does technology further learning? I had a lot of fun with this section because I got to really explore a lot of digital resources that are out there. Some common ones, obviously PBS. There's apparently a giant collection of free resources for students, teachers, parents, anyone, grade ages from pre-K to senior year of high school. They have educational games, they have videos, they have all of these cool things, and they all go into these specific subjects. And these are free resources for anyone. During the pandemic, when lots of things were online, there were a huge amount of resources for at-home learning. And I'm going to go into these links at the end because I want to continue this project. But my favorite one was the virtual museum tours, specifically the Smithsonian. They 3D scanned a lot of their exhibits and created this really, really cool tool where you can visualize the thing. You can technically walk around it. You can measure it like I did here. And it really gives you that hands-on learning and experience that a lot of students lost when we were online and that a lot of students don't get to get nowadays. And the last chapter is chapter 5. This is making assessment meaningful. So this is going into summative assessment planning, the importance of milestones and timelines, and technology and immediate instructional feedback. So summative assessment planning is the main goal here. So we have objectives, evidence, and activities. So when you are assessing students for learning through projects, you really want to have an objective that is clear. So you want to know what information are the students learning. And then you want to test them through evidence and activities. So you need to find out how they can demonstrate what they've learned that relates to a way in which they learned it. So if they learned all of this online, you're going to want to assess them online. If they learned all of this through hands-on experience or labs, you're going to want to test them through that hands-on experience or labs. And then some activities, you need to know what steps can be taken so students can learn the material. So this is your project. This is your PBL. This is where you want to have those clear steps that go to student learning, what they're learning, and how they can demonstrate what they've learned. Again, more elementary school examples here, but the importance of milestones and timelines. And this one applies to students who are in any grade level. Aldrich from 2016 says, setting up stronger milestones, more closely assessing compliance with the course requirements is so much more important than just setting up a check plus or simple peer review outline of drafts, because that loses the meaning, the importance of what you're working on, especially with younger kids. It's so hard to keep their attention on one project. So if you have these milestones or small rewards, end goals, or little assignments where those grades add into the final grade or factor into the big picture, it's going to create so much more motivation to succeed and to really dive deep into that learning. And last but not least, technology and its immediate feedback and how that affects us. I love immediate feedback. I love not having to wait 24 hours to wait for an email to come back if I'm confused on something, or if I'm really cranking out an essay and I just need help, or I need peer review or instructional review. So Google Docs is my preferred method of writing. It allows students and teachers to view the same document, to share a document and make real-time edits, comments, suggestions, or just have it so they can view it and go, hey, can you edit so-and-so paragraph? Can you leave a comment on the side? It's so helpful. And then instructor support. There's so many ways students that can reach their instructors now aside from email. I've had instructors use Remind, GroupMe, Google Classroom. They are so similar to texting. So many kids have phones nowadays, for good or for better or for worse. But it just makes connection with your teachers so much easier, and it's so well monitored. I love it. And student-on-student collaboration. Again, Google Docs, Google Slides, which is what I'm using here. If I wanted to share the slideshow with someone, or if this was a group project and I was working on it with someone else, we could both work on this project at the same time, and we could give each other that immediate feedback. Jamboard is also really cool. I think they're getting rid of it pretty soon, but I would highly recommend checking it out. Very visually striking, works the best for visual learners. I love using it to make checklists or brain dumps. Fantastic. Here are my references. And before I go, I'm going to go back to these, specifically the PBS Learning Media. Go away. So it's just really cool. You can go from pre-K to senior year of high school. World languages, let's check that out. You can do Spanish, Japanese, French, German, Chinese, Latin. And there's so many cool, just interesting resources that have been compiled. There's television shows, there's little games. It's really, technology is fantastic when it comes to different styles of learning. And it just makes learning so much more